I think it's the best one I've heard. He gave more than enough details, practically all the major concerns that face him. No, when he shows his political will, he just gets people to support him. He not only got an applause for that, but caused people to stand up and give him the ovation he deserves.
Magandang araw po. Si Katunying po ito. Parang maswerte ko ngayong mga araw na to. No? Isip-isipin nyo, pag pinagsama-sama siguro yung net worth ng mga taong nakakausap ko ngayon, baka hindi kakasya sa isang building. Ano? Mahirapan ako magbilang. Noong nakaraang araw, nakausap po natin si Ginoong EKR, sumunod si RSA. Ngayon naman, ang bossing Manny V. Pangilinan. Bossing, magandang araw po sa inyo.
Thank you. I think the fortune is mine. Katunying. Diba?
Opo. Alam nyo, nung nakaraang nagkausap tayo, that was about half a year ago, kung po ako noon, ang yabang ko. Dahil nakausap ko kayo Hindi naman lahat nabibigyan ng opportunity na makausap po ang isang katulad. At ang dami po namin napupulot. Ngayon po, ang isang reason kung ba't nandito at magkaharap po tayo, gusto po naming malaman, kumusta po ba ang negosyo? Kumusta po ba ang negosyo sa ilalim ng BBM administration?
Much better than, at least our own experience, no?
Opo.
Much better than previous administrations, I must say. It's really more business friendly than in the past, no? So we're happy that is the case, and that seems to be the sentiment of the business sector nowadays.
Can you be more specific po? Bakit nasabi niyo na mas okay ngayon, mas business friendly ngayon?
Kasi suportado nila mga plano ng mga businesses. They try to facilitate the issues that businesses usually face, like yung mga permitting, rights of way, even the matter of privatization initiatives. Mas madali ngayon. No? It's easier to understand and to accept the terms of any privatization initiative by the government. No? So mas naintindihan nila ang importansya ng negosyo at saka what the private sector can do to help the government achieve its own aims. No?
Opo. Ito po malimit kong marinig yung ease of doing business. Sabi nga nila, sa isang particular na negosyo na itatayo mo, may 100 yata ang signatories. Ngayon po ba, kumusta pagdating po dun sa doing business with the government?
It's better implementation of the anti-red tape law. No? So the agency has been instructed by the president to facilitate and promote the ease of doing business by the various businesses. No? And we've seen that happen in the case of our utilities like Meralco, Smart, and PLDT. We've seen that less difficult to do business, especially in the provinces. No?
Kayo po kahit saan yata tumingin, may negosyo po ang Metro Pacific. Nandiyan yung tubig, nandiyan kuryente, nandiyan ang kalsada, nandiyan ang tren. Kahit saan, nandiyan po kayo. Saan po pinaka-challenging, bossing?
Pinaka-challenging yung TV5
Hindi ko nabanggit yun. Medyo matugo po yun. Po.
Kasi lugi pa Pero the losses are reducing.
Po.
Diba? In a human context, ang paborito mong anak yung problem child, di ba?
Po.
That's the child you pay most attention to. Yung mga matatalino, mga scholars, hindi mo na pinapansin, kaya nila.
Po. Pero in relation to government regulation, ang PB5 po ba ay meron ba kayong nagiging problema sa mga regulasyon?
Wala naman.
Wala naman po.
Wala naman. No, hindi naman heavily regulated ang media.
Opo, sa bagay po. No? Pero bago lang ako umalis doon sa punto na yan, nababansagan po ang TV5 bilang isang network ngayon na very critical sa gobyerno. Totoo ba yun?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Kami na, not that I get involved in their news or public affairs, but we just want to, ang aming suggestion sa kanila is to be fair in our reporting. And I don't think we're critical of any government actually to be critical because we want to be critical. That's not who we are.
Hands-on ba kayo dyan? Nakikialam ba kayo dyan sa editorial policy ng network?
Hindi naman. There are a few instances where I would probably have to ask them to moderate, di ba? If they need to. But they take the position that if it's news, they must report the news. And I agree with them.
Okay. Puntahan po naman natin ang kuryente. Meralco, ang isa po sa nabanggit ng Pangulo sa kanyang SONA ay ang tungkol po sa sustainability ng enerhiya po, sektor na enerhiya. Nasaan na po ba ang organisasyon po ninyo doon tungkol po sa especially sa renewable energy?
In respect of the group?
Yes.
We are putting a lot of effort in renewables, no? As of the moment, Meralco has about 1,000 megawatts of projects of solar, mainly solar, that have been completed or are being built. But quite recently, a few months ago, we bought into Solar Philippines, which is a project of 3,500 megawatts. With batteries, it is about 4,000 megawatt hours. No? So on a single site, it's the largest solar facility in the world. No? So we're proud that the Philippines can be acknowledged as having built or getting to build a facility as big as that. No? So it will add 3,500 megawatts more capacity to solar. No? And would make the Philippines facilitates its entry into being net zero eventually by 2050. We plan to build more solar facilities in the future, maybe up to 10,000 megawatts of solar plants. No? So it's so large, it will be built on about 4,000 hectares in Nueva Ecija. So we will have about 7 million panels installed. And I think it can be seen from outer space once fully built.
Ganun kalaki po yun, ha?
Yun.
Parang malapit sa amin yun. Yan po ba yun sa General Tino, Nueva Ecija, Piñaranda, gano'n?
Yata eh.
Dapat puntahan niyo po yun. Daan kayo sa lugar namin, sa San Antonio. Papakainin ko kayo ng buro.
And I think to assure everybody, we're buying the land. And land that is really on marginal, these are marginal farms. Hindi ginagamit eh.
Kumbaga, hindi ito kinonvert na rice field na gagawing solar farm, hindi po?
Hindi naman.
Hindi po ganun. Ang Meralco po ay basically distribution naman talaga, no? Meron kayong solar farm. Paano po yun iaangkas dun sa grid? May malapit po bang grid dyan?
Well, we have to build the transmission line from the solar facility to NGCP. That's about 13 kilometers.
Opo.
So we're buying the land also to build the towers to connect to the grid. So it will supply the grid. The first phase should be finished operational by the first quarter of 2026. And the second phase by 2027. So fully built na yan in about 2 years. No?
So bago pala matapos ang termino ni Presidente Marcos?
We want to make sure that it's operational before he steps down.
Sa ano po magiging epekto noon sa presyo ng kuryente?
Well, hopefully because it will add quite a bit of supply to the system, that it could at least hold back any increases, di ba? Kaya bring it down. Because with batteries, unlike a typical solar facility, which we can supply only about 5 hours or so each day, because pag wala ng araw, wala ng charging, no? This we could probably supply anywhere between 11 to 12 hours of power each day, no? So,
saka ang kagandahan nun, ang laking mamimenos natin sa dolyar, no?
Yeah, exactly. Wala kang fuel cost.
Opo. Pwede po ba mag-micro ako ng konti? Marami po tayong mga household ngayon ang interesado na sa solar power, ano po? Kaya lang, ang laging issue ay yung pong net metering. Mukhang nakakaproblema dun sa presyuhan, tapos syempre sa regulasyon din sa mga local government. How is the national government addressing that particular issue po?
Well, ang makapatid dyan yung solar panels, no? And smart meters.
Apo.
Because you wouldn't know how how much power or energy, like, palagay mo na, we put solar panels, or you put solar panels on your, sa bubong.
Sa bahay. Apo.
Kailangan malaman mo how much energy you produce and how much you consume, so, and how much excess power you produce so that you can sell to the grid. We do it manually now. Meralco does it manually. So medyo mabagal yun and prone to error because human the intervention. With smart meters, it can tell the housewife or sino man naninirahan sa bahay mo how much power you're consuming on time, online and real time. And how much power you can sell to the grid. So that bagal yun and prone to error because human the intervention. With smart meters, it can tell the housewife or sino man naninirahan sa bahay mo how much power you're consuming on time, online and real time. And how much power you can sell to the grid. So that on a net basis, what you pay for is net of what you've sold. Diba? And you need a Meralco to do that, smart meter, to install the smart meters. Ang problema dun is the cost of the meters. Diba? Yung solar panels, Meralco should supply the solar panel to you, no? For free. Because we sell you power effectively.
Yes.
Now, if your solar panels produce something in excess of what you require, then you should be able to sell to the grids para pabawasan ang cost mo. Ngayon, the cost of the meters, we don't know yet, but we have spoken to certain Chinese suppliers. Because if we require 8 million meters, malaki order yun. Diba? So, if you could bring the price of the meters down, then we have to talk to the government, to ERC, that we're doing this and we want to implement it over a period of, say, 5 or 10 years, depending on what government approvals we can get. No? Now, the question is the question of cost.
Yes.
If it costs X dollars, who will pay for the capital cost of the meters? Siguro, ayaw na ipasa sa consumer. So, we have to talk to the government how much will be borne by us, can be borne by us. And sabi ko sa mga tao namin sa Meralco, I think we should pay for part of it so that we are able to promote this net metering desire of the government. But some might have to be part of the tariff. No? So we don't know exactly how much it might cost. So we have received 150 smart meters already, which we are type testing now. Meralco's doing that. And so eventually we will have to present a program to the government saying this is what we want to do. This, I think, is beneficial to the consumer. And the question of billing will be more accurate as well. No?
Tama po.
Because it's all digital na. Diba? The president in SONA was very keen on digital.
Binanggit nga po niya po.
Across many industries. So,
actually, exciting po yun, yung sinasabi niyo na yan. Bawat bubong ng bahay may solar panel, di ba? Ang ganda nun.
But isipin mo, Kantunying, why should Meralco not do it? It should do it. Because kung ma-propagate mo yung solar panels on every rooftop, including buildings like this and factories, hindi mo na kailangan ng Meralco. Di ba? Except, except pag may bagyo or maulap kasi kukonti ang radiation ng araw, then you need Meralco. But we become a backup supplier. Diba? Kailangan mo rin pa kami pag may bagyo. Pero we don't want the Meralco, the current business model Meralco, to be obsoleted by solar panels because it will.
Hindi, magaling naman po kayo mag-adjust yung innovation na tinatawag. Ano? And in fact, ewan ko kung nakarating na sa inyo, marami daw na probinsya ang gusto nang sumali sa Meralco.
Naririnig namin, isa pa rin yun
Opo.
Kasi maraming problema sa mga probinsya na
Sa mga electric cooperatives.
very inefficient, di ba? Hindi nag-i-invest sila sa the infrastructure to distribute and to at saka kung kasama sila sa amin na bumibili ng kuryente, mas mababa ang presyo namin kasi we're a big buyer, di ba? Against the generation plants. Ayun.
Yan po'y kuryente. Meron kay sa tubig. Ano bang mga investment nyo sa tubig? At ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, hindi maliitan. Bilyon-bilyong investment po sa inyo.
Oo, the last time that we met with I can speak for Manila Water, yung kanilang capex for the next 10 years is 176 billion pesos.
Wow.
That's actually more than the revenues they project. Kasi kasama dun yung sewage treatment facilities na required by the government. So medyo mabigat yun. On top of, more pipes. In our case, pinakamatanda yung aming pipes. Because we're on the west side of Manila, which is the first settlements, no? Yun. So malaking yan. On top of that, I'm quite concerned about the source of bulk water because we built about 400 million liters per day, 3 water treatment plants sa Muntinlupa.
Sa Laguna Bay ba yun?
So humihigop na ng tubig doon, pero that's not enough. I think we need to have build permanent long-term supply of bulk water. It may have to be dams and smaller dams.
Pero so, ito bakit ganun kalakas ang loob nyo na maglagak ng ganyang kalaking puhunan? Sabi nyo, mas malaki pa yung capital outlay kaysa dun sa revenue. Bakit po ganun? Ba't ganun kalakas ang loob nyo? Ka-confident? Bakit ganun kayo ka-confident?
Well, we still have to find a way to make money. Otherwise, mahirap mabangkorote naman yung kumpanya. No? We have to find better ways, more efficient ways to be able to spend the relevant amount of money to accommodate the water requirements, not only the distribution requirements, but also we have to get to bulk water supply. And at the same time, address yung mga sewage treatment kasi tinatapon natin ng dumi sa ating mga ilog kaya sa Manila Bay. No? We have to stop that. And there might be a solution if the government allows us. I think to some extent it allowed us na kasi kung tatayo kami ng sewage treatment plant sa syudad, napakamahal ng lupa. At saka kukonti lang ang lupa to accommodate STPs. No? Kanya, we are suggesting for a larger share of septage. You draw the yung mga dumi sa Poso Negro. And then we build sewage treatment plants outside Metro Manila. So we just ship it there.
Okay. Sa kalsada, infrastructure po. Ano po mga latest sa MPIC pagdating sa government infrastructure?
Well, continuous improvement, expansion of our existing roads and new roads that we want to build. Yung Calamba-Laguna Expressway, tapos na yung Laguna side. Nag-umpisa namin sa Cavite side. So by next year, tapos na that's about a 50-kilometer tollways, no? Connecting SLEX in Laguna all the way to Kawit, Cavite to connect with Cavitex. No? In joint venture with San Miguel, we're building the CityBex, Cavite, Batangas. Ko-connect namin yung Calax, Calamba, Laguna, to Cavite, all the way to Cavite, then Batangas, to connect to Batangas City, start always, and that connects to SLEX, di ba?
So pag sampa mo pa lang ganun, pwede ka na magpaikot-ikot.
Yeah, it's a ring road. It's a ring road around Metro Manila, Cavite, Batangas, then Laguna, then back to Metro Manila.
Ang timeline po ninyo doon?
Hindi pa kami nag-umpisa, pero the alignment has been agreed with San Miguel, so I think this year we should break ground. On CityBex, maybe give us 2 to 3 years.
So ang daming yung magagawa sa panahon na to ni BBM, ano?
Sa November bubuksan namin di ba yung viaduct sa Candaba, di ba?
Yes, opo.
Parang dalawang tulay yun.
Opo.
Sa gitna may puwang. So we expanded that by building a 2-lane tollways in the middle. So now it is a
nagasampu na siguro.
3 lanes each. So 6 lanes.
6 lanes na.
So it should alleviate the traffic.
Opo.
that area.
Matatapos na pala. Yun yung pinakamahabang tulay sa NLEX po, no?
Actually, siguro sa Pilipinas.
Opo. Nakakapagod yan. So ito po yung November.
This November.
November. Agriculture, sabi ng Pangulo, well, importante sinabi ng Pangulo, parang ang dating sa akin kahit maganda ang takbo ng ekonomiya, kung mataas naman ang presyo, parang wala din dating. Anong papel naman ninyo sa agriculture program po ng pamahalaan ngayon?
No, but just to comment on how he started and how he ended his address, no? His SONA. So it's actually, if you think about it, it's a well-crafted speech, di ba? He started with the issue related to food security, and then he said, no matter how good your GDP, your macro numbers are, if kung nagugutom mga tao, wala rin epekto, di ba? Yung good macroeconomic numbers, and he ended on a high note. Medyo may konti drama, di ba?
Yes.
But he soared in eloquence towards the end when he mentioned drugs. Na extermination is not part of the program. And then he mentioned the South China Sea or West Philippines Sea, and said we will not waver, we will not yield, which is a very strong statement.
And yung Pogo.
His Pogo. So when he shows his political will, he just gets people to support him. He not only got an applause for that, but it caused people to stand up and give him the ovation he deserves. Diba?
So, bago lang, babalikan ko yung tungkol sa agriculture, pero yung kabuuan ng SONA, how would you describe it? Siyempre, ang dami nyo rin SONA napanood nung nakaraan kumpara sa nakaraan.
Well, hindi sa sumisip-sip. I think it's the best one I've heard. I've heard because he gave more than enough details in his remarks and addressed practically all the major concerns that face him, no? And at the end, as I said, when he said, "I've decided on Pogo, I've decided on West Philippine Sea, I've decided on drugs." It's if he makes a decision and very clear and forthright, I think the people like that. So
yung mga gusto niyong marinig, sinabi niya?
Sinabi niya.
Meron ba kayong parang sana sinabi ng presidente ito? Meron po kayong total maririnig niya naman tong interview na to?
He spoke about wages. What about salaries of executives like me? Please tell him that. Kami naman, sabi naman niya next year SONA.
Pero maganda rin po yung ending niya. Tingin ko, importante po yung sinabi niya about doing what is right and what is good.
Yes. And I think if he does that and exercises political will, people will be behind it. The business sector definitely will be behind it. Yeah, definitely.
Balikan ko po yung, paano ba kayo makakatulong sa pagpapababa ng presyo ng bilihin? Kayo po, especially kayo na nakisali-sali na rin kayo sa food or security.
We just came out of a PBSP meeting. Pinag-usapan nga natin itong namin agriculture. And we went to the coconut industry. Simple lang yun magtanim ka. Diba? The business sector has got to help by getting into agriculture. There's been a long-term reluctance by the business sector to get into the planting business because it is so complex. It's a very complex thing with so many issues, no? We've started in that direction by getting to the dairy business because we import more than 90% of our dairy products. And what we import are powdered milk or UHT, which is not the most nutrition-laden kind of milk. So we have a dairy farm in Bae, and we've run out of milk. We use that as a main ingredient for our ice cream, and fresh milk. And what it has created is our collateral farms, dairy farms that are now selling milk to us. And we bought a dairy farm in Bukidnon to supplement the supply of milk for Visayas and Mindanao. So we hope we could continue to expand our investment in dairy products. Soon we'll be introducing yogurt and cheeses, locally made yogurts and cheeses. No? And we've invested in Axilum, in coconut exports, because I think that's the best way to really serve the coconut farmers. We process about 700,000 nuts a day, and we're investing in another coconut processing facility, which is bigger than Axilum. Because if there's any agri-product where the Philippines can be noted for, it is coconuts.
Talaga.
And so we will become one of the largest exporters of coconut products, mainly to the US and to Europe. No? Ayun. But the real test of manhood really is large-scale commercial farming. Now, we cannot do that kung walang lupa.
Opo, totoo. Kaya lang, pinamimigay yung lupa eh.
Ayaw naman namin bilhin eh. Sabi ko, we don't want to buy the land, put the money into the land. Kung mali sa amin, marentahan namin sa mga, alam ko, mga IPs might be involved. Ayaw naman namin bilhin eh. Sabi ko, we don't want to buy the land, put the money into the land. Kung mali sa amin, marentahan namin sa mga, alam ko, mga IPs might be involved, the government might be involved. We'd be keen to do that. We're now starting to plant mais for our cows, but we can readily expand that for human consumption and for other livestock requirements for silage, what they call silage, yung mga mais na kinakain ng mga baboy at saka mga baka. Ayun, so I think by the end of this year, we should have around 3,000 hectares planted to corn, mainly for silage, for livestock. No?
Yung pong, ano pong masasabi niyo dun sa parang corporate farming style na ginagawa ngayon ng gobyerno? Magko-contract growing daw sila ng palay para sigurado kita ng magsasaka, hindi pa masyadong mataas ang presyo ng bigas. Hindi ba kayo sasali dun?
Alam mo, it's got to make, I hate to say this, but kasi pag nakukulayan ng yung CSR, corporate social responsibility, with a very strong sense of, strong sense of social duty, we'll do it because I think that was required in the past. Pero your heart has got to be in it, and you must make money. Maybe not tons of money, because this is something that's very close to our people, but you must be able to sustain it and expand the business, because the gap in terms of our food requirements is quite large. So you have to allow businesses to make money. Anyway, kinokontrol naman presyo sa merkado, di ba? Ng DTI. No? So yun lang. I think that's the best way to incentivize if there is a profit motivation. So long as there's some controls, especially in the market. And that's why we sa export market naman, hindi naman ang magbabayad, hindi naman ang ating Filipino consumer, but the others. No? So yun. I think we should do it. I think we can do it if Thailand and Indonesia are able to do it.
Pwede rin dito sa atin.
Why not?
Pwedeng subukan. Opo.
Ano ba meron sila na wala tayo?
Tama po yun.
Mas gwapo naman tayo sa kanila. Di ba?
Saka sa totoo lang, palagi ko, lalo yung mga magsasaka natin, minsan nadidisheartened lang kapag medyo mababa yung presyo nila, mababalitaan nila na may oversupply ng kamatis, makita mo tinatambak yung mga kung ano kalabasa. Tingin ko may problema tayo sa processing ng mga produkto.
Well, ang ginagawa namin sa Axilum, for example, the plant that we're buying some also in Mindanao, is a direct relationship between the processing plants that we have with the farmer. So walang traders doon.
Ayun.
So if you cut out the traders, then the farmers get the full benefit of the price. Kasi walang mga ganun-ganun, the intermediaries, diba? Doon sila nadadali. Yun. So
palagay ko dapat pwede ba kayo pa-Xerox? Mukhang kailangan natin ng like-minded people na kagaya ninyo para sa lahat ng mga malalayong lugar. Makinabang po ang ating mga mahihirap
Alam mo, I think mga negosyante naman dito, I would give them credit because meron naman silang strong sense of social responsibility. Hindi lang naman ako. I mean, like si Ramon.
Opo.
Marami. Malakas silang kanya.
Katulad, nabanggit niyo siya, yung chicken farm na million parang i-launch na nila soon.
Sabihin mo, bebenta ko siya ng mais para sa mga manok.
Tama po. Okay, punta ko nga po yung PLDT. Kumusta po ba ang PLDT under this administration? Gumanda ba ang kita nyo? O dumami kalaban? O ano ba? Kumusta ba naman ang wallet nyo ngayon? Po?
Wallet ko, wallet ng PLDT.
Wallet ng PLDT, po.
Well, dumami kalaban not under President Marcos, under previous presidents. Okay naman, kita naman. It's up. It was up in 23, up this year. No? So, that's good. We're very mindful of the President's desire to increase the coverage and of connectivity to our people, no? Especially in this so-called GIDAs, the geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas in the country. I think we have to find the most effective solution to be able to reach the far-flung areas, the rural areas out there. That is cost-effective as well. No? So we're looking for something out of India, what GEO has done, to be able to build not only the cell sites, but also their ability to communicate, for the cell sites to communicate to your backbone, to the fiber backbone, because that transmission is also needed from what they call the last mile, the access network to the transport network, so you could bring the signal all over the country. Parang kuryente yan. So you got to find that the most effective, most cost-effective solution. Certainly, satellites are an answer, except they're very expensive.
Pero kumusta po ang policy ng gobyerno? Nakakatulong ba ang government policy, at least yung current government policy?
Kaya lang, dapat naman, they should know that the coverage of the telcos now, in terms of population, is more than 90%. We cover 90% of our people.
90% na pala?
Oo, oo naman. Sure, we should address the, 100%, di ba? Wala naman kami problema.
Pero yun ay cellphone saka fiber,
Oo, kailangan
yung household
kailangan yun. But there are various solutions from the cell sites that you have. So, say if you build in Siasi, Sulu, should be able to transmit by either VSAT, satellite, or fiber, submarine cable. Yeah. So we have to find the best cost-effective solution for that. No?
Okay, last na lang. Ano pong future? Well, meron pa namang 4 na taon si Presidente. Sa 4 na taon na to, anong nakikita nyo sa business climate natin? Kahit na, alam nyo, may yumuyugyug every now and then. Especially ang politika natin naman, hindi naman napapahinga. Favorite pastime yata nating mga Pilipino yan. Ano pong nakikita nyo in the next 3 to 4 years po?
Well, sa SONA naman niya, which he gave yesterday, mukhang may priorities naman siya, di ba? Na sinabi niya, yung food security, then the energy security, the issues surrounding the power industry, and the fact that it has called for a review of EPIRA, which is correct. No? May mga issues there. Kasi, for example, yung grid limits, what they call grid limits, say 25% of the Luzon grid, you're limited to that. So that was conceived at the time when solar renewables were not possible. And ngayon, like this 3,500 megawatts is big. So we could bump into our grid limits. No? Kailangan ma-review yun. So totoo naman ang sinasabi ni Presidente. Tapos the South China Sea, because that could be a source of gas for the Philippines. Of course, you have to deal with China because they're also there. Well, we're not in Pogo, so that's a different issue. At saka yung favorite theme niya ngayon, yung digitalization. And parang tinuhog niya, it should be done not only with government, especially procurement of government, but across the board, especially in education to address the lack of textbooks. That's right. You could use technology as a solution. So kailangan lang niya siguro i-prioritize so that when he retires by 2028, talagang he has solved many of the problems that he has inherited. Hindi naman niya kagagawa nito.
Yeah, po.
Namana niya ito eh. Kaya
Pero,
minsan nakakaawa siya.
Ganun po. May ganun kayo pakiramdam? So,
Minana, hindi naman sa gumawa.
So do you agree with his introduction kahapon na kahit maganda ang GDP mo, pag gutom tao?
Well, if anything, it caught your heart, did it? That this guy is solid, di ba? I mean, grounded. Because you can't say we grew by this and we want this, not quite the fastest, but the second fastest in ASEAN, which is a good track record. But, that doesn't resonate with people. Nalalaman nila what is GDP, di ba? With most people anyway. So, but nung sinabi niyang gano'n na wala namang kwenta yung numero niya kung nagugutom kayo. Essentially, that's the message. Hindi ba
mabigat na pag-amin yun, ha?
Nakaka-relate sila.
Opo.
So, he started with that and ended with on a stronger message about Pogo, West Philippine Sea, and itong ano.
Pero yun po ang challenge sa bossing eh. Well, maganda naman, from 18% na poverty rate, naging 15% yata. Ang target niya, before he steps down, single digit daw ang poverty rate natin. Kung titingnan niyo po yung mga ginagawa niya, matutupad ba niya na ang pangako na maraming Pilipino ang makakaangat-angat sa buhay before he steps down? Last question ko po.
I think he has a good chance of doing that. Masipag naman siya, focus siya, at saka when we meet him sa PISAC, he asks the right questions. He's intellectually curious about what's happening here, what's happening there. So committed siya. You could see he's focused and dedicated to his job. I think that's those are enough resources behind him to make him succeed, I think. And our job is to help him, di ba? Why not? Di ba?
Basta tulong lang po kayo ng tulong. Bossing, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Thank you po. Sa uulitin. Po. Nako, parang kaumpisa lang natin, pero masarap talagang kakwentuhan ang mga katulad ni MVP. Ang sabi nga nila, ang isang oras na pakikipag-usap ng isang MVP parang 4 na taon sa AIM. Ayun.
Wala pang bayad.
Wala pang bayad. Thank you. Thank you po. Ito po si Katunying, Anthony Taberna. Salamat po sa inyo.